Welcome, chosen ones, to this transformative journey. If you've ever felt like you're waiting for something bigger to happen in your life, then you're exactly where you need to be. In today's video, we're diving deep into divine timing, spiritual breakthroughs, and the incredible transformation that awaits you. The universe has aligned this moment for you right now, and everything you've been praying for is closer than you think. So, if you're ready to step into your divine purpose, to unlock the mysteries of your true potential, then make sure you stay with us through the entire video. It's not by accident that you're here. God's plan for your life is unfolding now, and you're about to witness miracles. Have you ever reached a point in your life where everything feels like it's coming undone at once? It's the kind of moment when the weight of your emotions, your thoughts, and your reality becomes so overwhelming that you wonder how you'll keep going. You wake up, and suddenly, the world seems off balance, as though the ground you've been standing on has shifted beneath your feet. This is not just a season of struggle, this is a collapse. It's the moment when everything you thought was solid, your mental clarity, your emotional stability, your spiritual foundation crumbles, and you're left standing in a pile of brokenness. The weight of everything can make you feel like you're suffocating. And the hardest part? There's no way to pretend that you're okay. It becomes undeniable. The life you knew is falling apart, and you don't know how to stop it. Mentally, you're exhausted. Your thoughts feel jumbled, scattered. The constant pressure to keep moving, to keep up, to keep being strong, starts to feel unbearable. It's not just fatigue, it's a deep, unrelenting weariness that seeps into every part of your being. You may feel as though your mind is on autopilot, barely able to process the things that used to come naturally, and emotionally, you're completely drained. The joy, the excitement, the energy that used to fuel you seem to have disappeared, leaving behind only a hollow ache that you can't shake off. You've cried, maybe without understanding why, but the tears keep coming, and they don't seem to stop. You're unsure if you can remember the last time you truly felt peace. Spiritually, you feel distant, disconnected. The connection you once had with your faith, your purpose, even with yourself, seems to have slipped away. It's like a fog has settled over your soul, and you can't find the way out. It feels as though you're walking through life with your eyes closed, grasping for something that makes sense. But every time you try to reach it, your hands close around nothing. And then, there's the relational collapse. You look around, and the relationships you once held dear now feel strained. Communication is difficult, misunderstandings arise at every turn, and even the people who used to support you don't seem to understand what you're going through. You've tried to be strong for everyone, to keep it all together, but the weight of keeping up appearances has become too much. You've realized, somewhere deep inside, that you can't carry the burden of pretending anymore. The life you once knew, the person you once were, feels like it's slipping through your fingers. It feels like the safe, comfortable world you built is now nothing but a fragile illusion, and you're watching it all break apart in slow motion. But here's the truth. This collapse is not failure. It's the doorway to transformation. What you're experiencing isn't a sign that everything is lost, but rather the beginning of a process that will lead you to a place of deeper wholeness and clarity. I know it feels like the end, but in reality, it's the start of something new. The collapse is necessary because it's clearing away the old. It's breaking down the walls you built around yourself to protect the parts of you that needed healing. The emotional exhaustion, the mental fog, the broken relationships, they are all a part of the process of transformation. In this season of collapse, you are being forced to let go of what no longer serves you. And though it's uncomfortable, perhaps even terrifying, it's essential. It's uncomfortable because it's changing you at the core, reshaping you from the inside out. The old ways of thinking, the old patterns you clung to for security, no longer fit the person you're becoming. And deep down, you know it's time for something new. You might feel as though you're being torn apart by the pressure. But know this. Every piece of you that is breaking down is making room for something better. The pain is not a punishment. It's preparation. Have you ever noticed how after a storm, the sky becomes clearer? the air crisper? That's what's happening within you right now. You are being purified. The storm, the collapse, the breaking down of old structures, these are necessary steps toward your growth. Just as a forest fire clears the way for new life to emerge from the ashes, your own breakdown is clearing the path for new growth, deeper strength, and more vibrant life. You might not see it now, but you are in the midst of a rebirth. Your mind is being renewed. Your spirit is being strengthened. Your heart is being healed. The collapse is making way for your rise. You may feel as though you're losing yourself, but in truth, you're losing the version of yourself that no longer serves you. You're shedding the skin of who you were, and while it's painful, it's necessary for the transformation ahead. The old patterns, the old defense mechanisms, the old survival tactics, you've outgrown them. They were necessary once, but they no longer fit the person you're becoming. Think of a butterfly emerging from a cocoon. The process is slow, often painful, and the butterfly is unable to see what's happening during its transformation. But in time, it emerges stronger, more vibrant, and more capable of fulfilling its purpose. You, too, are going through a similar transformation. The collapse you're experiencing is not the end. It is the catalyst for your growth. You are shedding the old layers of yourself to make space for a new version of you that is healthier, stronger, and more aligned with your true purpose. What you're going through is the birth of something new. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's messy. Yes, it feels like you're losing everything. But in the end, you will look back and realize that the collapse was just the beginning of your rise. You are being reshaped in ways you can't yet fully understand. And the beauty of this transformation is that you are not alone in it. God is with you in the process. He's watching over you as you go through the fire. And when you emerge, you will be stronger and more resilient than you ever imagined. This collapse, this breaking down of everything you once knew, is the groundwork for something greater. And the good news? The best is yet to come. The collapse is not the end. It's your turning point. It's the moment when you let go of what no longer serves you and make room for what is coming next. So, breathe. Take heart. You are not falling apart, you are being remade. This is your time. The time for everything to be broken down so that the new can be built up. And when you look back on this moment, you will see it for what it truly is, a blessing in disguise. A gift that is leading you towards something greater than you ever imagined. As you stand in the rubble of what was once your life, it may feel like you've lost everything, your sense of self, your peace, your joy, even your direction. The chaos and confusion cloud your vision, and you wonder if there will ever be an end to the pain. The breaking process can feel like it's never ending, and it's easy to feel like you're stuck in the midst of it, unable to see beyond the storm. But what if I told you that this isn't just destruction? What if I told you that what you are going through right now is not a sign that you've failed, but the exact opposite? It is the beginning of your transformation. You're not stuck. You're being repositioned. The breakdown is not a permanent state. It is the setup for what's coming next. In this moment of collapse, God is doing something in you that you cannot yet see. You may feel empty, but it is in this emptiness that God can begin to fill you with what you truly need. The sense of loss, the feeling that everything is falling apart, is exactly what creates the space for God's healing power to enter. You are not abandoned. You are being prepared. The collapse might feel like an overwhelming weight, but I want you to know that it is a divine weight, one that will bring growth. You are being forced to face the things you have been avoiding. The things you've hidden, the wounds you've ignored, the habits you've tried to bury, they are all surfacing now because they cannot be carried into the next season. God is allowing this breakdown not to punish you but to purify you. He is clearing away the old so that you can step into a new level of wholeness. Think about the times you've grown the most in life. Was it when everything was going smoothly? Or was it when you were forced to confront your fears, your failures, your weaknesses? True growth never happens when everything is easy. It happens when you're pushed beyond your comfort zone, when the world around you seems to be falling apart, and you're forced to rise in the midst of it. This is where the real work begins, the work of awakening. When your old patterns and beliefs start to fall apart, you're left with a choice. You can either stay in the ashes, allowing yourself to be consumed by them, or you can rise from them, stronger, wiser, and more aware of who you are and what you're truly capable of. This is the season of awakening. It's the moment when the mask you've worn for so long begins to crack, and you finally see yourself for who you truly are. And yes, it can be uncomfortable. The truth often is. But this truth is liberating. In this season, you're starting to see what was hidden from you before. Your emotional triggers, the cycles you've been stuck in, the unhealthy attachments, you're beginning to notice them now. And it's not easy. It's like waking up after a long, deep sleep, and suddenly, everything feels brighter, sharper, clearer. It might sting at first. You may want to retreat back to the comfort of ignorance, but don't. This awareness is the gift. This is what allows you to break free. As you begin to see things for what they truly are, you will find yourself letting go of old habits, old coping mechanisms that no longer serve you. The emotional numbness you once sought is no longer enough to keep you going. The ways you used to run from your pain no longer work. You can no longer ignore the fact that you're tired, that you're broken, that you need healing. The collapse makes room for the truth to rise, and once that truth comes to the surface, it cannot be unseen. And that is a powerful thing. This season is also forcing you to confront the stories you've been telling yourself. Stories of failure, of not being good enough, of never measuring up. The collapse shakes you out of those stories, out of the things you've been holding on to as truths about yourself. And the thing is, none of those stories are true. You are not your failures. You are not your mistakes. You are not the sum of your brokenness. You are a beloved child of God, called to rise, to heal, and to walk in purpose. When the old self begins to fall apart, something remarkable happens. You begin to see who you really are. You see the strength you've been hiding all along, the courage that has been buried under layers of fear, the power that you've been afraid to tap into. The collapse is the process that clears away everything that was blocking you from seeing yourself clearly. And once you see yourself for who you truly are, you can step into your new identity, one that is whole, strong, and ready to take on whatever comes next. But this awakening isn't an overnight process. It's slow, it's gradual, and it's painful. But it's also beautiful. As you wake up to the truth, you'll notice that your capacity to deal with life's challenges grows. You'll stop tolerating the toxic relationships, the negative self-talk, the fear-based decisions. You will find that you have the strength to create boundaries, to speak your truth, to walk in alignment with who you were always meant to be. You're no longer willing to accept a life of mediocrity. You're no longer willing to accept the scraps when you've been given a feast. You are awakening to the reality that you deserve better, and that you have the power to make that better happen. As you embrace this awakening, your heart will begin to heal. The wounds you've carried for so long will begin to close. Not because the pain is gone, but because you've learned how to walk through it. You will find that the more you awaken to your true self, the more peace will settle in your heart. The chaos, the anxiety, the restlessness, they will begin to fade as you align yourself with your true purpose. The collapse has brought you to this point, not to destroy you, but to show you who you really are. It's shaking the ground beneath you so that you can finally stand firm on a foundation that is unshakable. The truth of who you are, and the promise that you are not alone in this journey. And here's the beautiful thing. This awakening, this new awareness, doesn't just change you, it changes everything around you. As you step into your true identity, you'll notice how your relationships shift, how your environment responds to you differently, how opportunities begin to open up. The awakening you are experiencing is not just for your benefit. It's part of a greater purpose. As you heal and transform, you become a beacon of light for others who are still in their darkness. Your story becomes a testimony. Your strength becomes an inspiration, and your healing becomes a call for others to rise with you. The collapse has brought you to this point. The awakening is just the beginning. Now, you are ready to walk forward, to embrace the new version of yourself that is being birthed from the ashes. And as you do, remember this: you didn't fall apart. You were broken open so that you could finally become who you were always meant to be. The moment of collapse, though painful, marks a shift. It's the beginning of seeing things clearly, seeing yourself clearly, seeing the world around you clearly, and perhaps most challenging of all, seeing the truth about what has been hidden beneath the surface for far too long. This moment of awakening often comes with discomfort, because truth, while liberating, is also painful. When we begin to see clearly, we also see the things we've been avoiding, the habits, the emotional wounds, the unspoken fears, the unhealthy cycles that have controlled our lives without our full awareness. You might think that once the chaos starts to settle, peace will come. But that's not necessarily the case. What often follows the initial collapse is a deep, uncomfortable awareness that forces us to confront the parts of ourselves we'd rather leave untouched. The breaking down of old patterns is not the final step. It is only the beginning of the journey toward healing. The truth that emerges is often more complex than we'd imagined. It's not just about the obvious things, like the loss of a relationship or a job, but also the hidden patterns that have shaped our emotional landscape for years. You begin to notice cycles that you hadn't seen before, patterns of behavior that you thought were just part of who you were. These cycles start to become glaringly obvious, and it's not always easy to face them. Emotional triggers that used to set you off now come into sharp focus. You begin to recognize how certain words, actions, or situations cause you to react in ways that no longer serve you. Perhaps there's a part of you that feels constantly on guard, always ready to defend yourself, always expecting the worst. You may see how these reactions stem from past hurts, from wounds that were never healed, and it's painful to recognize, but it's also the key to breaking free. These cycles are not just random events, they are reflections of unresolved pain from the past, carried into your present life without your conscious knowledge. The truth is, much of what you've been reacting to is not about the present moment at all. It's about the past wounds from childhood, past relationships, early experiences that shape the way you see the world, the way you protect yourself, and the way you engage with others. As you begin to awaken to these patterns, the discomfort intensifies. It's easier to stay in ignorance, to keep burying these painful truths under the surface. But awareness is a gift. The more you see, the more you understand. And understanding is the first step toward healing. It's also important to realize that these patterns, these wounds, are not your fault. The trauma and pain you've experienced weren't something you asked for, nor are they a reflection of who you are as a person. They are part of the human experience. We all carry pain in some form. The difference is, some of us hide it better than others. But no matter how deeply buried it may be, it has a way of resurfacing when we least expect it. And when it does, it doesn't feel like a gift at first. It feels like a burden. However, as you begin to see your triggers, your reactions, and your wounds clearly, something profound begins to happen. You start to take back control. You start to realize that your past doesn't have to dictate your future. The key to healing is in the awareness, in the ability to see yourself not through the lens of shame or guilt, but through the lens of understanding and compassion. You are not the sum of your pain. You are not defined by your wounds. You are a person on a journey, a person who is healing, a person who is awakening. This awakening may also bring a sobering truth to the forefront, the awareness of just how much you've been carrying, how much you've been holding on to without even realizing it. The emotional baggage that you've accumulated over the years, the unresolved grief, the unprocessed anger, the hurt that you've kept locked away, they all come rushing forward, and it's overwhelming at times. The weight of it all can feel too much to bear. You may even wonder if it's worth the cost of facing it. But the answer is yes, it's always worth it. Because here's the beautiful truth about awareness. Once you see something, you can't unsee it. You can't ignore it anymore. You can't go back to the way things were. And that's a good thing. It's the beginning of freedom. It's the beginning of healing. It's the moment when you finally start to take ownership of your life. When you stop letting unconscious patterns run the show. And the power of awareness doesn't stop with recognizing your emotional patterns. It extends to your relationships, your habits, and your beliefs. You start to see how you've been repeating certain behaviors, making decisions based on fear, or staying stuck in toxic patterns because you didn't know any other way. Maybe you've stayed in unhealthy relationships because you didn't believe you deserved better. Or perhaps you've sabotaged your own success out of fear of failure or rejection. But as the layers of awareness peel back, you begin to see that these patterns are not permanent. They don't define you. They are simply habits you've formed over time, habits that can be unlearned. The key is in the awareness itself. Once you see the truth, you begin to take steps to change it. You begin to reprogram your reactions, challenge your beliefs, and reshape your emotional responses. This season of awakening isn't just about seeing the past, it's also about looking toward the future. It's about realizing that the person you've been is not the person you have to remain. Your past is not your identity. Your failures are not your future. The truth is, you are more than the sum of your experiences. You are more than the wounds you've carried. And the awareness you're gaining right now is the first step in transforming your future. You may feel exposed in this process, vulnerable even. It can be hard to confront the parts of yourself that you've kept hidden, but this vulnerability is your strength. It's the raw, unpolished version of yourself that is finally being given the space to heal, to grow, and to emerge as something even more powerful than you were before. And that is the true power of awareness. Not just seeing what's wrong, but seeing the potential of what can be right. When you see the truth, you're no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are empowered to change, to heal, to create new patterns, new habits, and new beliefs. You are taking back control of your story, rewriting the narrative from one of pain to one of growth, from one of fear to one of hope. As uncomfortable as it may be, this process is one of liberation. The truth is setting you free. And while it may feel like you're exposed, you are actually being made whole. The more you see, the more you can heal. The more you understand, the more you can grow. This season of awareness is leading you into a season of freedom, and that freedom is worth every uncomfortable moment of truth. The moment you begin to see clearly, it's as though a veil has been lifted. What was once blurry, what was once hidden, now appears in sharp relief. And while the clarity is freeing, it's also overwhelming. The awareness of your emotional triggers, your past wounds, and your unconscious patterns opens a door to a truth that can no longer be ignored. And here's the thing. It's not just the easy truths that come to light, but the painful ones too. The deep-seated fears, the regrets, the old stories you told yourself to make sense of the pain you'd been carrying. And now, they're all laid bare before you. The cycle you've been trapped in, the ways you've sabotaged your own peace, the unhealed wounds that have been dictating your reactions. These truths can feel like a heavy burden. But let me tell you something. Seeing the truth is the beginning of your freedom. It's the first step in breaking free from the grip of the past. It's the beginning of healing. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the weight of what's coming up to the surface. You might find yourself asking, how can I ever fix this? It feels impossible. But let me reassure you, healing doesn't happen all at once. It's a journey, a process that takes time and patience. And in this process, you will learn that you have the strength to carry these truths. In fact, you've been carrying them all along, whether you realized it or not. Now that you see the patterns, the next step is to understand them. understanding why you react the way you do, why certain triggers set you off, why you've stayed stuck in toxic situations. This awareness is powerful because it gives you the ability to change. When you understand why something hurts you, when you understand where it came from, it loses its hold on you. The patterns that once felt so automatic become something you can actively change. One of the first things you'll learn as you begin this healing journey is the importance of self-awareness. You'll start noticing the moments when your emotional triggers arise. Maybe you feel anger rising up in your chest, or a wave of sadness that you can't quite explain. These are the moments when your past wounds are being activated. The key is not to try and push these emotions away or suppress them, but to become aware of them, to understand them. When you acknowledge the emotions that arise, you start to see where they come from. You begin to understand the root cause. Emotional regulation becomes essential in this part of the process. You'll learn to pause and breathe before reacting. Rather than immediately giving in to the impulse to lash out, to shut down, or to hide, you'll begin to create space. Space between the trigger and the response. It's in that space that healing begins. You start to realize that you don't have to act on every emotion that comes up. You don't have to react the same way you've always reacted. The key is in becoming aware of your emotions, understanding them, and then choosing how to respond. This is where emotional maturity begins to take root. You no longer react from a place of woundedness, but from a place of understanding. You start to realize that your reactions don't define you. What defines you is how you choose to move forward, how you choose to heal, and how you choose to show up in the world from a place of wholeness rather than brokenness. The healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about rewriting your story. It's about reclaiming your power and taking responsibility for your emotional world. One of the hardest lessons in healing is learning how to feel without becoming overwhelmed by your feelings. For so long, you may have tried to numb your emotions, to push them away, or to distract yourself from them. But now, as you begin to awaken to the truth of your emotional world, you will realize that feeling your emotions, every single one of them, is necessary for your healing. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about allowing yourself to feel it and then letting it go. Healing is not about suppressing or ignoring your emotions. It's about learning to navigate them with wisdom and patience. You may find yourself feeling anger or sadness or fear, and that's okay. But now, instead of letting those feelings control you, you have the ability to choose how to respond. The more you allow yourself to feel and process these emotions, the more you will heal. You will no longer be at the mercy of your emotions. You will be in charge of how you move through them. The next phase of healing is learning to set boundaries. Boundaries with others, but also with yourself. For so long, you may have tolerated unhealthy patterns, toxic behaviors, and negative self-talk. But now, as you step into your true power, you will realize that you no longer have to tolerate what doesn't serve you. Setting boundaries is a way of protecting your peace, protecting your energy, and reclaiming your emotional space. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away, they're about protecting your heart. They're about understanding that you have the right to say no when something feels off, when someone crosses a line, or when you need time to heal. In this season of awakening and healing, you begin to realize that your worth is not tied to what others expect from you. Your worth is intrinsic, and you don't need to prove anything to anyone. As you continue to heal, you'll also begin to redefine your beliefs about yourself. For so long, you may have defined yourself by your wounds, your mistakes, or the things you've suffered. But as you gain clarity and begin to understand yourself more deeply, you will realize that your past does not define you. You are not your failures. You are not your mistakes. You are not your pain. You are a work in progress, a masterpiece being shaped by every challenge, every triumph, and every step you take forward. And the more you embrace this healing journey, the more you'll realize that your story isn't over. This isn't the end of the road. This is the beginning of something beautiful. The healing you are experiencing right now is laying the foundation for your future. It's preparing you for the life that you've been meant to live. You are shedding old layers, old beliefs, and old wounds so that you can step into your full potential, your full purpose. As you heal, you become more whole, more aligned with your true self. You begin to walk in the light of your own truth, and as you do, you inspire others to do the same. Your healing isn't just for you, it's for those around you. The more you heal, the more you become a beacon of light for others to find their way out of their darkness. And this is the ultimate gift of healing. Not just freedom for yourself, but freedom for those you touch along the way. Healing is never a quick process. It's often a long, slow, and uncomfortable journey, where you confront things about yourself that you've long buried. As you begin to see clearly and face the painful truths, you realize that the work has only just begun. The first step was awareness, the painful, eye-opening realization of the emotional patterns, the wounds, and the behaviors that have been running the show. But now, you have to confront those emotions. And that's where the real work begins. For so long, you may have pushed your feelings down, buried them deep inside where they couldn't hurt you. Maybe you learned to suppress your anger, your grief, your fear because it felt easier than confronting them head-on. But here's the thing about suppressed emotions. They don't just disappear. They linger beneath the surface, quietly dictating your actions and reactions. They seep out when you least expect it, causing you to lash out in anger, retreat into fear, or withdraw in sadness. Suppressed emotions don't fade away. They fester and grow, influencing every area of your life without you even realizing it. Now, as you step into your healing journey, those emotions can no longer be ignored. They've surfaced, and they are demanding to be felt. This is the hard part of healing, the part where you have to sit with your pain, your fear, your anger, and your grief. You have to allow yourself to feel them fully, without running away. And that's terrifying, right? To feel what you've been avoiding for so long? But it's also the only way to heal. You can't move past what you don't confront. You can't rewrite the narrative of your life if you're still holding on to the emotional baggage from the past. It's in this season that you begin to reframe how you view your emotions. Instead of seeing them as a threat, you begin to see them as messengers. Every emotion, even the painful ones, has something to teach you. Anger often points to a boundary that has been crossed. Sadness reveals a loss that needs to be grieved. Fear can be an invitation to trust in something greater than yourself. All of these emotions, in their raw form, carry wisdom that can guide you toward healing. In the past, you might have tried to bury these feelings, afraid they would overwhelm you. But now, you learn that the key to healing is not avoiding or suppressing emotions. The key is learning how to sit with them, understand them, and release them in a healthy way. This is where emotional regulation comes into play. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about understanding how to manage them without letting them control you. The healing process is about learning to respond to your emotions, not react. And that takes time. It's not easy. It's uncomfortable. And at times, you may feel like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But healing isn't linear. It's messy. And that's okay. You're learning to embrace the mess, to confront what's been buried for so long, and to do the hard work of healing. Part of this process involves giving yourself permission to feel. For so long, you might have felt like it wasn't okay to be angry, to be sad, or to be afraid. Society often teaches us to suppress these negative emotions, to smile through the pain, to hide our hurt. But this kind of emotional repression only leads to more pain in the long run. The first step in rewriting your emotional patterns is acknowledging that it's okay to feel. Your emotions are valid, and you deserve the space to experience them. And as you allow yourself to feel, something beautiful happens. You start to release them. As you sit with your anger, your sadness, your fear, you no longer feel controlled by them. Instead of letting your emotions dictate your actions, you begin to choose how to respond. You start to heal because you are no longer running from your pain. You are embracing it, understanding it, and ultimately letting it go. This process of confronting suppressed emotions is also an opportunity to rewrite your beliefs about yourself. For years, you may have believed that you weren't allowed to feel, that your emotions were a sign of weakness, or that it wasn't okay to be vulnerable. But as you begin to face your emotions head-on, you begin to question these old beliefs. You realize that your emotions are not a weakness, they are a strength. They are part of what makes you human. And in this season of healing, you start to redefine your relationship with yourself. As you confront the emotional wounds that have held you captive, you will also start to recognize the patterns in your beliefs. Perhaps you've believed that you weren't good enough, that you had to earn love, that you had to prove your worth. These beliefs, often formed in childhood or through past trauma, have shaped the way you view yourself and the world around you. But now, as you begin to heal, you'll notice how these beliefs no longer serve you. You'll realize that these limiting beliefs are just that, beliefs, not truths. This is where you begin the process of rewriting those beliefs. You begin to challenge the stories you've been telling yourself about who you are and what you deserve. You start to replace those old beliefs with new ones, beliefs rooted in self-worth, in the knowledge that you are worthy of love, joy, peace, and abundance. You no longer need to prove your value. You are inherently valuable, just as you are. In this season of healing, you will also begin to practice self-compassion. You'll learn that it's okay to make mistakes, to have flaws, to be imperfect. You'll start to see yourself not as someone who has failed, but as someone who is healing, growing, and evolving. The journey of healing is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about learning to love yourself through every stage of your transformation, even when you stumble, even when you fall. This is the power of rewriting your emotional patterns and beliefs. You take back control of your story. No longer will you be bound by the patterns of the past. No longer will you be held captive by the beliefs that limited you. You are creating a new narrative, a narrative of healing, of growth, and of self-empowerment. You are learning to love yourself in ways you never thought possible. But here's the truth: healing takes time. It's a slow and steady process, with ups and downs, twists and turns. And that's okay. It's okay to not have it all figured out right away. It's okay to take your time. What matters is that you're doing the work. You're showing up for yourself, day after day, and choosing to heal, choosing to rewrite your story, and choosing to step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. As you continue through this season of healing, you'll notice something profound. The deeper you go, the more important consistency becomes. Healing isn't a one-time event, nor is it a quick fix. It's a process that requires daily commitment, patience, and dedication. You are learning that healing isn't something that happens in a single breakthrough moment. It's the small, steady actions, the quiet moments of self-care, the decisions to choose healing over hurt, that gradually build into something life-changing. The consistency to show up for yourself every day, even when you don't feel like it, is where true transformation takes root. It's in these small, seemingly insignificant choices that your new self begins to emerge. And while the road may be long, it's this commitment to yourself that makes healing possible. Each day, you choose to rewrite the story. Each moment you resist old patterns, you're making progress. You may find that some days feel easier than others. On the good days, when everything feels aligned, it's easy to feel hopeful and inspired. But on the tough days, the days when doubt creeps in, when old habits try to resurface, when emotions feel overwhelming, that's when consistency matters most. It's easy to give up when the road feels long and the progress slow. But healing is about showing up anyway. It's about doing the work, even when it's hard. And it's in those hard moments that the greatest growth happens. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out, or that you need to be healed before you can move forward. Healing is messy. It's uncomfortable. It's about doing the best you can, day by day, and knowing that even small steps lead to big changes over time. The key is not to give up, even when you feel discouraged. One of the things you'll need to learn in this healing process is the power of inner stillness. This is one of the hardest and most essential skills in your journey. In a world that is constantly moving, always demanding, always loud, it's easy to forget how to sit in silence, how to listen to the quiet whisper of your own heart. But in this season of healing, you will need to cultivate inner stillness in order to reconnect with yourself, with God, and with the deeper truths that lie beneath the surface. Inner stillness isn't just about quieting the noise around you, it's about quieting the noise within. It's about creating space in your heart and mind to hear the voice of God, to reconnect with your intuition, and to be present with yourself. When you're constantly distracted by the chaos of life, it's hard to hear the subtle guidance that's always available to you. But in the stillness, you can tune into your true self, the voice that isn't influenced by fear, by others' opinions, or by the demands of the world. It's the voice of peace, of clarity, and of wisdom. This practice of stillness is vital for your healing. It allows you to slow down, to check in with yourself, and to see where you are emotionally. It's in those quiet moments that you will begin to recognize when you're triggered, when you're falling back into old patterns, or when you're on the verge of making decisions based on fear rather than love. Inner stillness allows you to become more self-aware, more attuned to your emotions, and more able to choose how you respond. It's also in these moments of stillness that you'll experience the true power of your healing. As you quiet your mind, you may begin to hear words of encouragement, reminders of who you are, and gentle nudges toward growth. The stillness is where you encounter God in a new and intimate way, where you are reminded that you are not alone in your healing journey. You are held, supported, and loved, even in the silence. The more you embrace stillness, the more you will find peace. You'll discover that healing isn't just about fixing what's broken, it's about learning to live with grace, to be present with yourself, and to allow your life to unfold at its own pace. You'll stop rushing to get to the end of healing, and instead, you'll learn to appreciate the process, the small moments, and the growth that happens in between. As you rewrite your old patterns and beliefs, you'll also need to learn the power of boundaries. Healing requires that you learn to say no to what no longer serves you. You may find that, as you begin to grow and change, some relationships or situations no longer feel aligned with who you are becoming, and that's okay. Setting boundaries is not about cutting people off. It's about protecting your peace. It's about honoring your needs, your energy, and your emotional well-being. Boundaries are essential in this season of healing because they help you create the space you need to continue growing. They protect your energy from being drained by toxic people or situations. They allow you to say yes to what matters most: yourself, your growth, and your healing. Learning to say no to what doesn't serve you is not selfish. It's an act of self-love. And when you set healthy boundaries, you create the space for healthier relationships, more aligned opportunities, and a deeper connection with your true self. This process of healing and transformation is not easy. It's slow, it's often painful, and it's filled with moments of doubt. But the most beautiful part of it is that it's a journey. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. All you need is the willingness to show up for yourself, to keep going even when it feels hard, and to trust that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. As you continue on this path, you will find that your healing will begin to affect every area of your life. Your relationships will transform as you learn to show up as your true, healed self. Your work will take on new meaning as you step into your purpose with clarity and confidence. And your heart will be at peace, knowing that you are finally walking in alignment with who you are meant to be. Healing is a lifelong journey, but it's a journey worth taking. And with every step, you'll come closer to the fullness of who you are, to the strength that lies within you, and to the peace that can only be found through deep healing and self-awareness. Healing is a transformative process. But perhaps one of the most beautiful aspects of healing is that it doesn't just fix what was broken, it reveals who you were always meant to be. As you continue on your journey, you begin to notice something extraordinary happening. You're shedding layers of your old self. The old patterns, beliefs, and wounds that once defined you are starting to lose their grip. You are becoming someone new, someone stronger, someone truer to who you were always meant to be. For so long, you may have defined yourself by your pain, your past mistakes, your fears, or your emotional scars. You may have believed that the person you were during your struggles was the real you. But now, as the healing process deepens, you begin to realize something profound. The version of you that has been shaped by pain is not the full picture. It's only a fragment. The true you, your authentic self, the one created for greatness, peace, and purpose, has been hidden beneath the layers of trauma, fear, and self-doubt. And as you heal, you begin to reconnect with that true self. The healing process is like peeling back the layers of an onion. Every layer that you shed reveals a more vibrant, more confident version of you. With every belief you release, every habit you break, and every emotional wound you heal, you are becoming closer to the person you were always meant to be. In the past, you may have looked in the mirror and saw someone who was broken or incomplete, someone who wasn't enough. You may have seen the scars from your emotional battles, the cracks in your soul that life had created. But as you heal, you begin to see something different. You start to see strength where there was once vulnerability, resilience where there was once fear, and beauty where you once saw only imperfection. The version of you that pain once buried, the one who was afraid, the one who felt unworthy, the one who felt small, begins to rise. This is your authentic self, the one that has always been inside you, waiting for the right moment to emerge. The more you heal, the more this true version of yourself begins to shine through. And what you realize is that the pain you've experienced didn't destroy you, it made you who you are. It shaped you, refined you, and made you stronger. This part of the healing process is where the transformation truly begins. As your identity shifts, you begin to recognize the power you hold within you. You start to see that you don't have to stay stuck in the patterns of the past. You don't have to be the person you once were, the one who lived in fear, who shrunk back from life, or who believed that your worth was defined by your circumstances. No, the true you is powerful, confident, and worthy of everything good in this life. But with this shift in identity comes a new challenge. You must now live in alignment with this new self. You can no longer tolerate the old habits, the toxic relationships, or the self-limiting beliefs that once kept you stuck. You have to begin making choices that reflect this new version of yourself. This might mean setting boundaries with people who drain your energy, or letting go of the things that no longer serve your higher purpose. It might mean stepping into new opportunities, ones that scare you but also excite you because they align with who you truly are. This is the work of identity rebirth. Not just realizing that you are someone new, but beginning to live as that person. It's one thing to recognize your worth. It's another to show up in the world as if you believe it. And in this phase of healing, that's exactly what you're called to do. Show up as your true self. For some, this may feel uncomfortable at first. You may be so used to hiding behind the walls of your old self that stepping into the light feels like an act of vulnerability. But vulnerability is not weakness, it's strength. And as you allow yourself to be vulnerable, to be real, to be your authentic self, you create space for others to do the same. You become an example of what it looks like to heal, to transform, and to embrace the fullness of who you are. You'll also notice that as you begin to live in alignment with your true self, something powerful happens. You begin to attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences. When you're living authentically, you stop attracting situations that drain you or hold you back. Instead, you attract those that align with your highest potential, relationships that lift you up, work that fulfills you, and experiences that help you grow. This transformation is also reflected in how you approach your life's purpose. As you reconnect with your true self, you begin to feel a deeper sense of clarity and alignment with your purpose. You realize that your pain, your struggles, your journey, all of it has a greater purpose. The very things that once felt like burdens are now being revealed as stepping stones on your path. Your story, which once felt like a tragedy, is now being rewritten as a testimony of strength, resilience, and hope. You start to understand that everything you've been through was necessary to bring you to this moment, to this place of self-awareness and power. Your pain has shaped you, but it does not define you. You are not your struggles. You are the person who has overcome them. And as you continue on this path, you'll begin to see that your life is not a series of unfortunate events. It's a beautifully orchestrated story of healing, growth, and divine timing. The key to living as your authentic self is allowing your inner truth to guide your actions. You may not have all the answers, and that's okay. The important thing is that you trust yourself, trust your intuition, and trust that you are on the right path. As you continue to heal, this trust will grow. You'll stop doubting yourself and start believing in your own wisdom, your own strength, and your own ability to create the life you deserve. And in this space of alignment, you will experience peace, peace that comes from knowing that you are living in accordance with your true nature. This peace isn't the absence of challenges, but the inner knowing that you are strong enough to face them. It's the quiet confidence that you are exactly where you need to be, and that everything you've been through has led you to this moment of transformation. As you continue to heal and embrace your true self, you will feel lighter. The emotional weight that once held you down begins to lift. The fear, the self-doubt, and the old wounds are no longer your burden. You are free to be the person you were always meant to be: strong, confident, peaceful, and full of purpose. In this season of rebirth, your life begins to unfold in ways you never imagined. You're no longer living in the shadow of your past. Instead, you're stepping into the light of your future, guided by the truth of who you are. And as you do, you'll discover that this new version of yourself is exactly what the world needs. Your healed heart, your transformed spirit, and your authentic self are the gifts you bring to others. You are living proof that healing is possible, that transformation is real, and that your true self is more powerful than you could ever imagine. As you continue to step into your new identity, the version of yourself that has been awakened and healed, something truly remarkable begins to happen. You start to experience the freedom of living in alignment with who you truly are. Gone are the days of hiding behind the walls of fear and self-doubt. Gone are the days of pretending to be someone you're not, simply to please others or avoid confrontation. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be. And this transformation is not just internal, it's external as well. The way you interact with the world changes. Your relationships, your work, and even your sense of purpose all begin to shift as a result of this deep, authentic alignment. It's like everything that once felt off balance or forced now falls into place, as though you've been given the clarity and strength to walk in your purpose without hesitation. One of the most powerful shifts that occurs in this phase of transformation is the ability to set boundaries. When you're living authentically, you begin to realize that protecting your peace is a form of self-love. You no longer tolerate the things or people that drain your energy or undermine your self-worth. You start to say no to the things that don't align with your values, your purpose, and your vision for your life. For so long, you may have sacrificed your own well-being to make others happy, to avoid conflict, or to fit into a mold that wasn't yours to begin with. But now, you're learning the power of saying yes to yourself. Setting boundaries isn't about being harsh or unkind. It's about honoring your own needs, respecting your own time, and preserving your emotional and mental health. When you set healthy boundaries, you create the space you need to thrive, to heal, and to continue growing into the person you are becoming. And here's the thing about boundaries. When you start setting them, you may find that some people don't like it. It might feel uncomfortable at first. People might question you, try to push back, or even guilt trip you. But this is where your confidence comes into play. You're no longer living to please others. You're living to honor your truth. And when you honor your own needs, you set a powerful example for others to do the same. You teach others how to respect you, and you create the space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships. As you continue to live in alignment with your true self, you'll also begin to notice a shift in your confidence. This isn't the false confidence that comes from pretending to be someone you're not, or from trying to gain approval from others. This is a quiet, inner confidence that comes from knowing who you are and standing in that truth without apology. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't need to shout or prove anything, it simply is. This new confidence stems from the understanding that you are worthy, just as you are. You don't need to chase after validation or approval because you already know that you are enough. The wounds of the past that once made you question your worth have healed. And now you stand in the truth of who you are. Valuable, worthy, and deeply loved. This confidence also extends to how you show up in the world. You stop shrinking back from opportunities or playing small to make others feel comfortable. You embrace the things that once intimidated you, and you walk into them with the knowledge that you are fully equipped to handle whatever comes your way. The fear that once held you back begins to lose its power over you, and you start to take bold steps toward the life you've always dreamed of. But this confidence isn't just about how you show up for yourself, it's also about how you show up for others. As you embrace your own authenticity, you begin to encourage others to do the same. You create a space for those around you to be themselves, to heal, and to grow. Your transformation becomes a source of inspiration for others as they begin to see what's possible when you live in alignment with your true self. Living authentically also means stepping into your purpose with clarity. As you reconnect with your true self, you begin to feel a deeper sense of direction. The path ahead becomes clearer, and you start to feel an undeniable pull toward the things that truly matter to you. You no longer feel lost or unsure of your place in the world. You understand that your unique gifts, your experiences, and your story are all part of the divine plan for your life. This is when your purpose becomes more than just a vague idea. It becomes a driving force. You begin to take action toward your goals, trusting that every step you take is aligned with your highest good. The fear of failure that once held you back dissipates, and you start moving forward with confidence, knowing that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Living in alignment with your true self also requires that you release the need for external validation. For so long, you may have relied on others to tell you that you were enough, to prove that you were worthy. But as you step into your authenticity, you begin to realize that your worth doesn't come from anyone else's approval, it comes from within. You stop seeking external praise and begin to trust in the value of your own heart, your own spirit, and your own path. This shift in identity also allows you to let go of the fear of judgment. You stop worrying about what others think of you, because you know that your true worth isn't dependent on anyone else's opinion. You learn to embrace your flaws, your imperfections, and your mistakes as part of your journey. You no longer need to be perfect to be loved or accepted. In fact, your imperfections are what make you human, and they are the very things that connect you to others. And as you continue to heal and align with your true self, you begin to notice a sense of peace settling within you. The chaos of the past, the noise of self-doubt, and the pressure to conform all begin to fade away. You no longer feel like you have to prove anything to anyone. You are enough, just as you are. And this peace isn't the absence of challenges, it's the inner knowing that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. Living in alignment with your true self also means you begin to step into a life of intention. You no longer react to life's circumstances. Instead, you approach each day with a sense of purpose, guided by your inner truth. You begin to make choices that reflect your values and your desires. You stop allowing life to happen to you, you take the reins and begin to create the life you want to live. This new alignment is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up for yourself every day, even when it's hard, and trusting that the process is unfolding exactly as it should. You are no longer at the mercy of your circumstances. You are in the driver's seat, and you are steering your life toward the destination that aligns with your true self. As you continue on this path of transformation, you will discover that living authentically brings you a profound sense of freedom. Freedom from the past, freedom from the limitations of your old identity, and freedom to be fully and unapologetically yourself. And in this freedom, you find peace. In this peace, you find strength. And in this strength, you find the courage to walk boldly into your purpose, knowing that you are exactly where you're meant to be. After all the pain, the healing, and the transformation, here you are, ready to step into the life you were always meant to live. The version of you that was once hidden beneath layers of trauma, fear, and doubt is now free to rise. The ashes of your past are no longer where you stay. They are the very soil in which your new self has taken root. Now, it's time to walk into the full expression of your purpose. This is the moment when you finally realize that all that you've been through wasn't in vain. Every struggle, every tear, every lesson learned has been preparing you for this moment. The moment when you step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. In this chapter of your life, you begin to walk in alignment with your true purpose. This alignment doesn't happen overnight, and it's not always easy. But now that you've healed and rediscovered your authentic self, you can see the path ahead with more clarity. Your past pain no longer defines you, it becomes the platform from which you rise. You now realize that the pain you experienced was never meant to break you, but to build you. Every obstacle, every challenge, every setback has shaped you into someone with the wisdom and strength to walk boldly into your destiny. As you walk into your purpose, you begin to attract the right people, opportunities, and experiences that align with your higher calling. This is the beauty of being in alignment with who you truly are. The universe, God, and life itself begin to conspire in your favor. The doors that once felt shut begin to open. The relationships that once felt draining begin to uplift you. The work you once struggled with begins to feel like the fulfillment of your deepest passion. Your purpose is not just a career or a title. It's the very essence of who you are and the impact you are meant to make in this world. Your purpose is tied to your authentic self. When you step into your true identity, you begin to walk in the fullness of your calling. You realize that your purpose isn't something you need to chase. It's something that naturally unfolds as you continue to walk in alignment with your true self. The more you embrace who you are, the clearer your path becomes. In this space of alignment, you find that your choices reflect your highest values. The things that once distracted you, the things that once pulled you away from your purpose, now lose their appeal. You no longer feel compelled to chase after success for the sake of validation or approval. You pursue what truly matters, what brings you peace, fulfillment, and joy. Your actions are now guided by your inner truth, not by the expectations of others. You begin to realize that the more you follow your heart, the more you step into your purpose. As you walk in alignment, you'll begin to inspire others. Your journey becomes a testimony of resilience, healing, and growth. Those around you will begin to notice the transformation you've undergone. They will be drawn to your peace, your confidence, and your ability to live authentically. You may not even realize it, but your very presence is an inspiration. The way you live your life boldly, authentically, and in alignment with your purpose becomes a source of encouragement for others who are still struggling to find their way. One of the most powerful aspects of living in alignment with your purpose is the way you lead by example. As you begin to rise into your true self, you become a beacon of light for those around you. Your healing and growth provide a roadmap for others to follow. You inspire others to believe in their own healing and transformation, to believe that they, too, can walk into the fullness of their divine purpose. Your life becomes a living testimony that it's never too late to heal, to rise, and to step into the destiny you were meant for. As you continue walking in alignment with your purpose, you will begin to see the incredible impact your life has on the world around you. The gifts, talents, and wisdom that you've cultivated through your journey are now ready to be shared with others. Your purpose is not just about personal fulfillment, it's about making a difference. It's about using the lessons you've learned to help others heal, grow, and step into their own purpose. Living a life of impact doesn't mean you have to do something grand or extraordinary. It's the small, consistent actions, the ways you show up every day, that make the biggest difference. The love you share with others, the encouragement you give, the kindness you offer, all of these small acts of service are part of your divine purpose. You don't need to be famous to make an impact. Your impact is measured by the lives you touch, the hearts you heal, and the change you create in the world around you. You may not know exactly how your impact will unfold, but you can trust that when you live in alignment with your purpose, it will naturally flow. The people you are meant to help will come into your life. The opportunities to serve will present themselves, and you will begin to see how every part of your journey has prepared you for this moment. Every struggle, every triumph, every step forward has been leading you to this place of impact. As you step into your divine assignment, you will also begin to realize the importance of emotional maturity. The pain of your past may no longer control you, but it has given you the emotional wisdom to understand and empathize with others. Your emotional capacity has grown, allowing you to hold space for others' pain, joy, and growth. You will begin to see that your story is not just your own. It is part of the collective story of humanity. Your healing is intertwined with the healing of others, and your rise is connected to the rise of those around you. Through your healing, you've developed a deep well of emotional intelligence. You know how to navigate life's challenges with grace, how to stand firm in your truth, and how to handle setbacks with resilience. This emotional maturity will allow you to live in alignment with your purpose in a way that is grounded and peaceful. You will no longer be tossed around by life's storms, but will stand firm in your truth, knowing that you are exactly where you're meant to be. The beauty of stepping into your purpose is that it's not just about fulfilling your own dreams, it's about serving others. The more you rise into your purpose, the more you realize that the impact you make is not just for you, but for the world. You begin to see that your life is a gift, and the way you live it is a reflection of the love, grace, and power that flows through you. As you walk into this next chapter of your life, you will discover that purpose isn't something you find, it's something you become. Purpose is not an external goal or destination. It is a state of being, an alignment with the highest version of yourself, and a willingness to serve others in the way only you can. Your purpose is alive within you, and every step you take toward healing and growth is a step toward fulfilling it. The final truth of this chapter is that, as you walk in your purpose, you will realize that your story isn't just about survival. It's about thriving. You didn't just overcome your struggles, you became the person you needed in those moments. You became the light for others still in darkness. You are not merely a survivor, you are a beacon of hope, a living testament to the power of transformation, and in this, you become not just a witness to your own healing, but a catalyst for healing in the lives of others. Thank you so much for joining us on this divine journey today. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We want to keep spreading these life-changing insights to those who need it the most. Your support helps us reach more people, and together, we can create a wave of transformation that will ripple across the world. If you're ready to embrace the transformation that's unfolding in your life, let us know in the comments below. Remember, your breakthrough is coming, and we're here to walk with you every step of the way. Stay aligned, stay faith-filled, and see you in the next video.